Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our new norm of a virtual United Way campaign. We thought we've seen everything in our United Way campaigns over the years. Who would have thought we would be having one virtually? Last year at this time, we were all under the tent outside, enjoying the festivities, having a good time, and we raised over $145,000 last year. You raised over $145,000. Very proud of what our campaign has been able to do over the years, and if you go onto our website, you'll see that over the past 25 years, we've raised close to $2 million, which is heroic, amazing. And I know my grandfather, who was involved 75 years ago, actually, when the community chest was established in Chittenden County, that was the precursor to the United Way, became the United Way. I don't even think he could have imagined that we would have been raising over $2 million. And it just doesn't happen. You have to be committed to it. We have to have a dynamite committee, and once again, we have a dynamite committee. You just saw them introduce the campaign. They've been working really diligently, very hard on your behalf. We have a few other insurance folks that are on the committee, Abby Henry, Connie Reed, and Ryan Lee, that have joined this group, that are working really hard. And how about the website? I don't know if you've been on the website yet, but an amazing website to really guide us through this whole campaign. And we do have, as Kate talked about, the United Way is really good about addressing the most critical needs in our community. And they have programs that support housing, mental illness, and food insecurity. And we're going to hear from these folks this week at our live Facebook events tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. And really, when you get right down to it, United Way organizes, helps support these programs. They figure out the most important community needs, and then we're really providing the muscle to do it. We're providing the money to do it. You are providing shelter, you're providing food, and you're providing help when people are having troubled times. I mean, you are literally doing that and meeting these critical needs. So this campaign is very important. It's important to our community. It's important to the organization to give back to our community. All of our companies have had a strong history of giving back to our community, and this is our time to do it. And last year, as I said, we gave a little under $146,000, and the committee says, look, Scott, we've got to bump that up. We've got to go to 150. So based on their recommendation, we're going to go to 150. I know it's a lot, but our campaign of tagline, now more than ever, I think we can all agree as we look back at these past 6 months and what the pandemic has done, worldwide, nationally, and of course locally, it's been really difficult. And you think about what we're going to be focusing on this week, and you think about if you didn't have a place to live, if you didn't have any food, if you had to choose between having a place to live or food for your family, or you had a family member or yourself suffering from some kind of mental illness during this time, what would you do? Who would you turn to? And most likely, you would be turning to a United Way sponsored program that you're funding. It's really important. So thank you for your support this week. Let's have a good time virtually as best we can, and thank you again for all your support.
2020 has been swept by change.
We've learned so much already.
And there is much more yet to come.
as we navigate this new unknown path.
We have been reminded of our essential needs and how it feels when they are threatened.
We have been reminded of how much we rely on each other.
And what it's like to feel isolated or alone.
We have been reminded of how it feels to be uncertain and unstable.
We've been reminded that some in our community are more vulnerable than others.
We have been reminded of how to care for our elders and our neighbors.
We have been reminded of how connected our community is and what it needs to function.
We have been reminded of how to protect and respect diversity.
We're learning that together,
We can flatten a curve and rebuild a broken system.
we are reminded of how much we want to see our community alive and thriving. Navigating the path to recovery will require us all to work together.
This is exactly what United Way does.
United Way is more than just our name.
It's how we work.
For decades, we have united donors, partners, volunteers,
And communities to fight for the stability, health, and well-being of every person.
United Way responds to needs that exist every day.
The community defines our priorities.
This year will be no different. It's time to invest in resilience.
We're leading the charge.
Let's build a strong and vibrant community together.
So I think we'll get you back on the audio there. But I'm Jesse Bridges. I'm the CEO at the United Way of Northwest Vermont, and it's a rite of passage to be standing here at Hickok. Unfortunately, with only a few people in distance this year, but the show of support that you all provide as community members here at Hickok is really a beacon for the rest of our community to step up and understand what we need in terms of support. I want to start by thanking all of our donors who've given in the past, because without your support, we would not have been able to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic in the way that we were able to this spring. It's because of your ongoing support that we were able to turn on a dime and raise additional critical funds to support programs and people, organizations doing critical work to respond to those most in need in our community. It was because of your past support that we were able to coordinate volunteers, for example, helping AgeWell recruit over 300 new volunteers to deliver meals to the most vulnerable because their usual volunteers had to stay home. We were able to put over $280,000 additional dollars raised and out into the community to help with things like food insecurity and housing and mental health and connecting our community. The language barriers, the physical barriers were real. And COVID really laid bare the inequities that we have as a community. But again, we were able to respond because of you. Also because of you and the faith that we have in you and our other donors, we were able to make a good on a commitment of $1.5 million in program funding in the year ahead. So we have committed to fulfilling year 3 of our program funding grants in full, which is a big lift and has really put us all out on a limb to make good on that promise. But we know now more than ever that we have a critical need, and it's not the time that we can pull back. Unfortunately, many other employers are in different situations. So we know there are furloughed workers. We know there are businesses that may be shuttering. We know there are nonprofits that may be shuttering. We can't expect necessarily that they're going to be there for us, and so that's why we need you to be there for us this year. We've already seen a loss in this past spring of 10%, which is actually over $300,000. So when you think about what we have ahead of us and the road we have to climb, that jump that Scott talked about is 10%. That's what we're down, and so if you guys jump 10%, we're going to be able to, with everybody else doing the same thing, make up for that and make good on that promise to the community. And I know the biggest things that you're going to focus on this week are housing and food insecurity and mental health. And I think one of the things with COVID that we've all recognized is how those things impact all of us in all of our lives. You can't stay home and stay safe if you don't have a home, right? Food insecurity and the idea that you can get access to food, and if you're an older Vermonter that requires Meals on Wheels or relies on that, That was in jeopardy, and we were able to shore that up. Getting to a food shelf became an issue, right? How do you get access to food? We all experienced that with the way we had to go to grocery stores, the way we had to help our neighbors. We really want to continue to look at those things as we move forward in the year ahead and think about how do we build back to a better future going forward. Let's not just get back to where we were. Let's try and build a better future where we think about these things and say, look, shelter is important and necessary as an emergency tool, but shelter is not the solution to housing insecurity, right? A home is. And food shelves are necessary and provided an incredible incentive for us, but in the long run, what we need to understand is that's not the solution to food insecurity. And I think we've all struggled with mental health. I know I have a daughter at home right now, learning at home and remotely, and the struggles that is for our kids, the struggles that is for parents and adults, those that are caring for older adults, those that are caring for neighbors. It's an incredible struggle right now. And so I think it puts us all in the shoes of people that have some real significant needs and barriers in our community. And we need to make sure that the supports and services are there for them. And the last thing I'll say is we also need to make sure that we are challenging ourselves and the systems in our community that maybe have continued to perpetuate some of the inequities that we've seen. And United Way is committed to doing that work with you as we move forward to make sure that when we recover, and it's going to be a long road to recovery, let's be honest, but when we recover, we come back with a more just and equitable system that works for all. So I really thank you. It was really great to be here, even in this virtual environment. I know people are working from home and they're upstairs and they're out in the community. And I look forward to seeing another exceptional campaign from Hickok that's going to show the rest of the community how to make it happen. So give now. Thank you.